batter for the Cubs will be center fielder Greg Gross. The Reds, of course, played this club 4 games at Wrigley Field last weekend, splitting the 4 right down the middle, and the Cubs then went on the road and have proceeded to drop 3 in a row in Houston. So Chicago desperately in need of getting a win. They have missed an opportunity to really close down ground on the slumping Philadelphia Phillies. Gross, a left-handed batter. Lacoste with a pitch, and it's in there for a called strike, and this game is underway. Both the Cubs and the Pirates are tied for second place in the East, 3.5 games behind the Phillies. Lacoste with the 0-1 delivery. That is grounded by the mound. Morgan off to his right, up and throwing, and Gross is gone. 1 away. Well, Greg Gross bouncing out 4-3. Joe Morgan to Danny Driessen, and the batter will be third baseman Rodney Scott as we check the Reds defensively for you. At first base, Driessen. At second, Morgan. At third, Rose. At shortstop, Concepcion. Foster in left, Lum in center, Griffey in right, and Johnny Bench behind the plate. Rodney Scott hitting .286, no homers and 6 RBIs, a switch hitter. Of course, Mike Lacoste's last start was Sunday afternoon in Chicago, wherein he went 8 2/3 innings in losing that game 2-1 on a 2-out bases loaded double off the right field wall by Dave Rader. First pitch is over on the inside for a call strike to Scott. Swung on, and another grounder hit to Morgan. This time Joe to his left and throws Scott out, and quickly 2 men are out. Of course, we talk about the Cubs desperately in need of a win. So too are the Reds. Cincinnati has dropped 11 out of the last 17 games, and here in the month of August have dropped 13 out of 22, and well, trail the Dodgers now by 4 games. L.A. coming up with 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning at home last night to come from behind and defeat Philadelphia 5-4. Those 2 clubs will be going at it again tonight with Don Sutton on the mound for the Dodgers against Dick Ruffin. 2 away for Billy Buckner here in the Cub first inning, and he takes a strike. Outfield playing Buckner just a bit toward left field, and he's a left-handed batter. Hitting .303 on the year with 2 home runs and 50 RBIs. He takes a strike, and quickly Mike Lacoste jumps out ahead of Bill Buckner. No balls and 2 strikes. Bobby Murcer on deck as Lacoste tries to retire the Cubs in order, and here's a shot hit down the right field line. That's going to be a base hit. Ball rolling into the corner as Buckner takes a turn. He comes on into second base standing up with a 2-out double to right field. I'll tell you, I don't know if there's an honest way you can play Bill Buckner. You shade him to hit the other way, he'll pull the ball on you. This guy, one of the good hitters in the National League, and he's double here with 2 down in the inning to bring up Bobby Murcer. Murcer checking in at .273. He's hit 7 home runs, somewhat off his pace of recent years, and has knocked in 48 runs. Again, the umpires tonight: Les Tritle behind the plate, Mick Sharkey at first base, Cliff Schaller at second, and Jerry Thick at third. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, a federal district judge out of Philadelphia, Judge McGinn, signed a restraining order late this afternoon in the presence of both sides, represented by counsel, prohibiting the umpires from striking. But, of course, it appears that they are striking all over the major leagues tonight. It all started this afternoon up in Toronto when they struck the Minnesota Blue Jays game. Strike 1 pitch, and the next one is a breaking ball off the outside corner to Murcer as the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Bill Buckner at second, 2 away in the first inning. Lacoste with a slow come down to the belt. He deals, and this one pulled foul between the bag and the coaching box at first. Well, we had quite a pregame show, as is always the case when we celebrate Shrine Night here at Riverfront Stadium. Bill Wigger-Lowe, the game director for quite some years now, again doing a fine job of putting it all together. Lacoste working, and Buckner strikes out swinging on a pitch up, and that ends the inning. For the Cubs, no runs, a hit with a man left on, and after a half inning of play in the series opener, Chicago nothing, and the Reds are coming up.
This is Jim Lowry with a note of interest for all farmers. The new line of International Series 86 tractors at Smart's Farm Equipment in Plain City has everyone talking, and with good reason. These new tractors combine power and comfort in a way that is completely different. The new mid-mount control center places you 1.5 feet ahead of the axle in the middle of the action for real comfort, better visibility, and easier handling. Powered by high torque-rise diesel engines, Series 86 tractors meet the demands of high-speed, hard-pull farming with more work power and economy. There are 6 Series 86 models, 85 to 161 engine horsepower, and you can see them all at Smart's Farm Equipment in Plain City, the International Harvester XL dealership that offers the best in service, parts inventory, and a wide selection of good used equipment. So give us a call at 224-5876 or stop in. That's Smart's Farm Equipment in Plain City, a dealership you can trust.
Well, tonight's game opens up a big weekend series for the Reds and the Cubs as the current homestand continues here at Riverfront. Two clubs will be meeting tomorrow afternoon at 2:15. There will be a 2:15 game on Sunday also, but be sure to get here early for all the fun of the Reds Wives Home Run Hitting Contest. Next week, the Pirates are here for 3 weeknight games, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. By the way, the Red Stadium Ticket Office advises that plenty of seats are available for the weekend, and for your convenience, the Red Stadium Ticket Office will open at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning and Sunday morning, with the gates opening at 12:15. Pete Rose swings and fouls away. The first pitch thrown by Rick Rushell as we move to the home half of the first inning. Rushell with a record of 12-11 and a 305 earned run average as he makes his 4th start of the season against Cincinnati. He's inside with the 0-1 pitch. Pete now requesting that plate umpire Les Tridle take a look at the ball that Rushell is playing with. He might tell you last night there was a scoring change on the ball that Pete hit to left field in the 3rd inning. They had originally scored it a single and tacked on an error against Lou Brock. That has been changed to a clear-cut double for Pete as Rushell falls behind to him at 2 balls and 1 strike. So that would take away the only error charged in the ball game and give Rose a total of 43 doubles on the year. Pete swings and lines it foul off the third base side, well back of the Chicago dugout. Even count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Joe Morgan on deck, Ken Griffey to follow. Rushell sights a sign, kicks and throws. Pete swings, sends a drive back into left center field. Kingman drifting back, and he's there to make the catch. 1 away. Here's second baseman Joe Morgan as we set the Cubs defensively. At first, Buckner. At second, Trillo. At shortstop, De Jesus. And at third base, Rodney Scott. Dave Kingman in left field. Greg Gross in center. Bobby Murcer is the right fielder. And Tim Blackwell behind the plate. Morgan with a run-producing single last night. He's batting .243. And as Rushell starts into his windup, Joe steps off the plate. There has not been a pitcher this season who has attained a mastery over the Reds like Rick Rushell has. Cincinnati has scored 1 run off of this guy in 3 starts. The first pitch, a ball missing to Morgan. Allowed 1 run and 13 base hits in a total of 24 innings pitched. That pitch is in for a strike. His career record against the Reds is 9-7, but he has beaten Cincinnati 7 times in a row since he lost in Chicago on May 8th, 2 years ago. There's a ball that bounces out of the glove of the catcher. Is that a foul ball, or was it just a ball that popped away from... It'll be a foul ball. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Beat the Reds 10-1 in a complete game effort on the 8th of June, allowing 7 hits, won 3-2 on June the 12th here, giving up 2 hits and no runs in 6 innings. Morgan a line drive base hit into center field. And Joe leading, coming up with a 1-out base hit up the middle off Rushell. That'll bring up Ken Griffey. And then he knocked the Reds off 2-0 in a complete game win on the 17th of this month, giving us only 4 base hits in a game up at Wrigley Field. So Morgan out at first with a single, and here's Ken Griffey, who's been on some kind of tear since moving into that 3rd spot in the batting order. He's had 12 RBIs, 9 hits, including 4 home runs in his last 6 games. Rushell throws to first. Morgan steps back. Now another throw that way. Joe, of course, picking up a stolen base last night, his first since the 17th of June. Rushell already has thrown that way 2 times. The infield a double play depth. And And there goes Morgan as Griffey swings on the pitch and fouls it away. So after drawing 2 throws, Russell finally elects to come to the plate. Joe's off and running, but Griffey fouls it off. Kenny batting .290. He's now homered 8 times, including 1 here last night in the 3rd inning off right-hander Pete Bukovic, and has knocked in 47 runs. No score in the 1st inning from Riverfront Stadium. Griffey takes a strike, and he's behind at 0-2. Of course, with the Reds being 4 back of the Dodgers, the Giants with a night off last night, they are now 1 full game behind. They open up a series at Candlestick against Montreal. Just outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. San Diego losing to the New York Mets last night, 6-3. They remain 4.5 games behind Cincinnati and 8 1/2 games behind the Dodgers. There's a throw to first again, and not in time. Close play. Buckner apparently thought they had Morgan picked off, but Mick Sharkey, the first base umpire, says no. Russell into his stretch motion. He delivers, and Griffey swings, and he misses. So Russell has his first strikeout. 2 away in the inning for left fielder George Foster. Foster batting .287 with 29 home runs and 84 runs batted in. Steve Garvey had a run batted in last night in the Dodger 1-run victory over Philadelphia, so he is now 8 RBIs away from Foster, 94-86. Jack Clark of the Giants in 3rd place, along with Reggie Smith, each with 84. Foster takes it on the inside corner for a strike. Russia losing in an earlier start on this road trip Monday night in Houston. The Astros and J.R. Richard beat him by a score of 8-3. Swing and a miss. George tried to hold up on the swing, but could not. And they say Rick was up with most of his stuff on that particular night, but I'll tell you, Ken Griffey making a good point. You get this guy out of Wrigley Field and put him on artificial turf, and a little bit tougher for him because that high grass at Wrigley Field has a tendency to slow the balls up, give the infielders a chance to make a play on them, as opposed to AstroTurf, as he's pitching on here tonight. He throws again to Buckner, and quickly Morgan steps back into the bag. 2 strikes to count on Foster with 2 out. Checking Morgan at first, and the pitch to the plate just outside. George was able to check his swing in time. 1-2. Foster taking his time, settling back in there as Russia waits. Now he sights a sign from Tim Blackwell. He delivers and misses inside to level the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ray Burris was originally scheduled to pitch the opener here, but Herman Franks apparently making a change early this morning, electing to put Russell into tonight's game and move Burris to tomorrow. Just low, and the count goes full. So in Game 2 and a 2:15 start tomorrow, it'll be Bill Bonham against Burris. Sunday afternoon, Tom Seaver will oppose Mike Krukow. Morgan will be breaking. Here's a payoff pitch, and Foster jammed on it. Hits a bat-handle foul back behind the Cincinnati dugout. Count stays, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Danny Driessen would be up next. Morgan breaking, payoff swung on, and again fouled out of play. So Russell throwing strikes and Foster wasting them with foul balls. Cubs right now only 1 game over 500. They have the identical record of the Pittsburgh Pirates, 63 wins and 62 defeats. Foster, a check swing, slow hopper up the middle, fielded by the second baseman, and he got him on an eyelash play at first base. Soft liner right up the middle. Manny Trillo swept to the second base bag to play it on the bounce and got a good, strong throw-off to Bill Buckner to nail Foster by a half step. No runs in the inning, one base hit, and one man left on, and after one complete, the Reds nothing and the Chicago Cubs nothing.
Only one beer will do. Strong for the real beer lover. Strong tastes like no other. Strong for the real beer lover. Everyone knows it's the beer lover's beer. Family food for over 200 years. Real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a strong. Strong for the real beer lover. Strong tastes like no other. Strong for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another strong.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Each club getting a runner on in their respective half of the first inning, but nothing across for either team. Dave Kingman will be in for openers here in the second against Mike Lacoste, followed by Manny Trillo and Ivan De Jesus. Kingman batting .234 with 21 homers and 58 RBIs. Missed the game last Sunday against the Reds. He suffered a slight muscle pull in his rib cage, bringing his luggage in to the Cub clubhouse. He bluffs a bunt, takes a pitch low and away. Kingman has reached Reds pitching for 3 of his 21 home runs. 2 of them in Chicago. As a matter of fact, all 3 of them in Chicago. One in our first trip in off Bill Bonham, and then hit a couple in the 3 games in which he participated in last weekend. 1-0 pitch. He offers it that one in a bunt attempt and did not get it, so level the count at ball 1 and strike 1 to Dave Kingman. Reds have the overshift down to the left side of the infield for Kingman, and that pitch a breaking ball off the plate, 2-1. Morgan, Concepcion, and Rose. Danny Driessen, the lone infielder on the right side, and Davey actually playing a shallow left field for Dave. Takes it high, 3 balls and 1 strike. Cubs have been an excellent home club, 37 wins and 26 losses. There's ball 4, so Kingman starts off the second by working a walk. But on the road, they have won 26 and lost 36. That's pretty much the story for a great number of clubs around Major League Baseball this season. You look at how the Phillies have fared at home, although they did not have the most successful of homestands before leaving on the 15-game road trip that opened in L.A. last night, but still a very tough club defeat at Veterans Stadium. Boston, a almost invincible club at home, but has been pretty much of a patsy on the road. Here's Trillo now with Kingman at first. He takes a strike. Reds have won 38 and lost 25 at Riverfront, but on the road they are 33 and 31. Rose even with a bag at third. Trillo lines one into center field. That's a base hit. Kingman will just be able to go to second, and he'll stop there. As Trillo hit a hard line drive single up the middle, so Chicago puts its first 2 men on base. And the batter will be shortstop Ivan De Jesus. De Jesus batting .267. 3 home runs and 26 runs batted in. Kingman now at second with Trillo at first and nobody out. Here's a pitch. Strike call. Tim Blackwell, the catcher, would be up next. Chicago poses a second inning threat. No score here in the ball game. Lacoste looking into Johnny Bench as De Jesus finally steps away from the plate. Joe Malfitano, the third base coach for Chicago, over at first. Cookie Rojas. pitch. DeJesus squares to bunt, strike 2 call. Turns and takes a quick look at plate umpire Les Tridle. But the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. LaCosse back to the plate, and strike 3 is called. On the outside corner and knee high as DeJesus is caught looking, and we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Follow the Reds all season long on Zebra 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio, where you hear more of what you listen for.
DeJesus called out on strikes. That's the first in the inning for Chicago and brings up the left-handed batting Tim Blackwell, the Chicago catcher. Hitting .220 with 3 RBIs on the year. The pitch is down and into him for a ball. Blackwell had 3 hits and 8 trips against the Reds last weekend with a run batted in, so did all right at the plate. 2 on with 1 out now, and this pitch is swung out and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, LaCosse with 2 strikeouts already, and he is by no means a strikeout pitcher. Coming into this start, his 8th of the year, he had fanned only 11 batters in 51 1/3 innings. He deals back to Blackwell, and the pitch is low. 2 balls and a strike to count. Rick Russell on deck. Kingman opened the inning by drawing a walk. Trillo single into center. DeJesus has been called out on strike. Now the stretch, the check, and the pitch. That's strike 2 call on the outside. 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Tim Blackwell. That's a round-out regular season play, this 3-game series between the 2 clubs. Of course, the Reds will finish off with the Eastern Division competition next week with the Pirates here for 3 and then go to St. Louis for 4. Here's a high chop off the plate. All LaCosse can do is wait for it to come down and does not have a play. Actually, I think he had a play at first base, but he looked to third and by that time had nowhere to go with the baseball. So Mike really looking the wrong way because he had a play on Blackwell at first base and instead looked to third.
Marty, I think really it was so high, and of course Mike not knowing not much about the players, and I think Mike's idea was maybe to get Kingman making a turn at third, but I think he would have had a shot at Blackwell at first base had he thrown right away, but the ball was just chopped so high that I guess he said, well, there's no chance there. We'll see if we can trick somebody. Didn't work.
No, it didn't, and that goes as an infield base hit for Tim Blackwell, and with the bases loaded, here's Rick Russell. Russell has had 6 hits on the year and 54 times up with a double and a run in. Mike will work out of the stretch, and Russell takes it in the dirt. Johnny Bench knocks it down on the bounce. Rose is even at third. Likewise, Driessen at first. Concepcion and Morgan at short and second are at double play depth. So Chicago bidding to get on the board in the second. Have Kingman at third. Trillo at second. Tim Blackwell on the strength of the infield hit to the mound at first. Right now, Larry Shepard, the Reds pitching coach, is running out of the dugout and making his way toward the mound to talk with LaCosse. Johnny Bench slowly going out also. This afternoon in the American League, Toronto beat Minnesota 7-3. Don Kirkwood got the win. Gary Sarum took the loss. At the end of 2 at Baltimore, Seattle and the Orioles 0-0. Mitchell against Martinez. Boston scored in the bottom of the first inning. And after 1.5 at Fenway, they lead California 1-0. Ossie against Eckersley. Other games will have Oakland at New York, Milwaukee at Detroit, Cleveland at Chicago, and Kansas City at Texas. Cardinals and the Braves are scoreless at the end of 2 in the National League. LaCosse ready now with a 1-0 pitch, and Russell swings and lines it into right field. That's a base hit. Near the line, here's 1 run scoring. Here comes Trillo to the plate. He's home. And Dave Rick Russell helps his own cause with a soft line drive single down the right field line, scoring 2 runs, and that gives the Cubs a 2-0 lead. So Rick Russell makes his 7th hit of the season, a big one, as it scores Dave Kingman and Manny Trillo, with Blackwell moving to third. Oh, we go back to the top of the order for the center fielder, Gross. Greg grounded out to Morgan in the first inning. He takes a strike, a fastball. Well, Lacasse walking back behind the mound as
Marty, time called. Mike Klum asked the second base umpire, Mick Sharkey, if he wouldn't move a little bit. Mike couldn't see the plate.
Well, Mr. Sharkey accommodates Mike Klum's request. Here's the 0-1 pitch to the plate, and Greg Gross swung on and grounded foul at first base. Talking about that statement earlier tonight from National League President Chub Feeney. Went like this. Federal District Judge Joseph L. McGlynn signed a temporary restraining order barring the Umpires Association from continuing the strike action they started earlier today. Both sides appeared in court late this afternoon in Philadelphia, and each side was represented by counsel. A further hearing has been set for August 30th. Gross bounces to shortstop. Concepcion steps on the bag, throws to first, double play, and that's the inning. Greg Gross hits into a 6-3 twin killing, but the Chicago Cubs get 2 runs on 3 base hits. They strand 1, and at the end of an inning and a half, the Cubs 2, and the Reds nothing.
Enter the Big Con Cincinnati Red Sweepstakes. Over 1,800 prizes. 5 weekly sweepstakes. Random drawings are made each week to award 363 prizes. Enter every week to increase your chances to win. Prizes include 15 Reds fun-filled weekends in Cincinnati with motel accommodations, meals, and tickets to Reds games. Other prizes, 50 Dave Concepcion baseball gloves, 250 Cincinnati Reds t-shirts, 500 official National League baseballs, and 1,000 Cincinnati Reds baseball tickets. Get an official entry blank with full details at your favorite food store, or mail your entry on a 4x6-inch piece of paper or a postcard to Cons, Post Office Box 25068, Cincinnati, Ohio 45225. No purchase necessary. Each entry must be mailed separately and accompanied by the rose from any Cons product or reasonable facsimile. Enter now. Sweepstakes ends August 26th. Remember, over 1,800 prizes from Cons, home of the wiener the world awaited.
Well, if you're coming to the ball game this weekend, the Reds official 580 gift shop invites you to stop by before or after the game, tomorrow or Sunday. If you've never been to 580, take a few extra minutes to visit and see this unique little gift shop. You'll find everything from pennants and T-shirts to one of the 6-foot-long pennants, which is actually flown above Riverfront Stadium. The Reds 580 gift shop is located in the 580 building at the corner of 6th and Walnut in downtown Cincinnati. It's open tomorrow from 7:30 until 6 o'clock and Sunday from 9 until 6. Stop by. Rick Russell takes a 2-0 lead to the mound as Danny Driessen leads it off. Reds getting a 1-out hit in the first inning by Joe Morgan, but Griffey struck out. Foster bounced out trio to Bill Buckner. Danny Driessen hitting .272. He's hit 16 home runs, none against the Cubs, and has driven in 65 runs. Here's a pitch. Driessen takes it outside and high for a ball. That's in there for a called strike. Johnny Bench on deck to be followed by Dave Concepcion. 1-1 to count on Danny Driessen. Checks his swing, and that cost him a strike. Fastball is low, 2-2. That's ball 3. Russell at times this season has been bothered by arm problems to the extent that He has missed 5 starts. In fact, his only start here at Riverfront was forced to leave at the end of 6 innings because of that problem. Here's a bouncer right back to the box off the payoff pitch. Russell lobs to first, 1 down. Well, as Johnny Bench comes up, we'd like to send along get well wishes tonight to Fawn Rose. Pete's daughter had her tonsils removed today at St. Francis Hospital, and want to wish Fawn all the best and get over what I'm sure right now is a severe sore throat.
Oh, I bet that ice cream tastes good.
Yeah, that's the best remedy in the world. Pitch misses outside to Johnny Bench for a ball. And Fawn, we hesitate to say we hope you're feeling better because I'm sure right now you are not, but you will, believe me. Here's a fly ball hit down the left field line and foul ground over Scott and De Jesus, but the ball is up into the seats. Johnny Bench, a .254 batter. Cincinnati trailing 2-0 in the home second after the bases-loaded single by pitcher Russell drives in 2 runs in the top of the inning. Well, I'll tell you, of late, the Reds have been playing from behind more often than not. Last night, the Cardinals getting 4 runs. The Reds came back with 3 in the bottom of the third, but that was the final score. Here's a foul pop behind the plate that's out of here. Pete Vukovich, on a warm, humid night last night, did some kind of job on that mound after the Reds got to him for 3 third-inning runs. Bench swings and misses and lost the bat in the process. Picked up out at shortstop by De Jesus. Well, Russell has his second strikeout. 2 away now in the inning. Dave Concepcion at the plate. Stop by the Reds ticket agency nearest you and purchase your tickets in advance in Coshocton, Ohio at the Coshocton Motor Club. In Mount Vernon at Knox County Auto Club. In Shelbyville, Indiana at Farmers National Bank. And in Ashland, Kentucky, at Zwick Music. Davey tries to bunt his way aboard and did not get it as Rodney Scott comes charging in from third base. Bouncer over the mound and back of second, fielded by Trillo. The throw in plenty of time. Reds are out in order in the second inning, nothing across, so we'll go to the third with a score. Chicago 2 and Cincinnati nothing.
Cool it when the sun's up high. Cool it when the sun's down low. When it's too darn hot and you're cooking when you're not. Cool it the Crawford Nichols way.
Yes, everyone's doing it. Cooling it, that is, with Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling and Lennox Air Conditioning. No need to be hot and bothered over summer's heat and humidity. Lennox Air Conditioning lets the whole clan be relaxed and happy at home. And a wise father knows that central air conditioning adds to the value of his home. And to make sure you stay cool, Crawford Nichols is on the job with emergency service 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Get your free air conditioning estimate today. Just call Crawford Nichols and say, cool it.
Now you can cool it with Crawford Nichols, that's the way.
876-1234.
Third inning about to unfold at Riverfront Stadium, and for Mike Lacoste, he'll be facing first up third baseman Rodney Scott. And here to call the play-by-play for you, Joe Nuxell.
Thank you, Marty. Scott in the first inning grounded to Joe Morgan. Be Scott, Buckner, and Mercer here in the third for the Cubs. They lead it 2-0. Chicago's had 4 hits off Mike Lacoste through the first 2 innings. 3 of those hits coming in the second when they scored their 2 runs. Rodney Scott, a .286 batting average. He's driven in 6 runs, 4 doubles, a triple. The pitch. Scott looks at it. It cost him a strike. Breaking ball. Scott hitting left-handed. Lacoste back to the plate, and a breaking pitch is in for called strike 2. Quickly, Mike in front 0-2 to Scott. Scott, a switch hitter. Left-handed, he has a .287 batting average. Right-handed, .278. Lacoste winds and delivers a change-up. Check swing ground ball to Concepcion. Throwing on to Driessen, 1 out. On the way in, Bill Buckner, the batter. Bill doubled along the right field line in the first inning. Buckner hitting .303 with 2 home runs, 50 RBIs. Buckner has been to the plate 317 times this year. He's played in 85 games. This is 86. Lacoste delivers a fastball for a called strike. Cubs leading at 2-0. Mike Lacoste hoping for his 4th Major League victory. Buckner away from the plate. Now Bill backs out of the batter's box and now steps back in. Lacoste checks in with bench. Winds and delivers. Buckner swings on a curveball and hits it into right field. Griffey going back, reaches up and makes the play. Kenny misjudged that one just a bit, but was able to catch up with it and almost didn't get back there in time. Buckner hit the ball, I think, a little better than Griff thought. But 2 away, and Bobby Murcer, the batter. Murcer struck out to end the first inning. Lacoste into the wind and the pitch. Murcer takes a breaking pitch low and inside. Lacoste has struck out 2. He got Murcer in the first and DeJesus in the second. The 1-0 pitch low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Mike Lacoste, his 8th start since joining the Reds. He has 1 complete game. 2-0 delivery. Mercer swings on it and a fly ball into left center field. Mike Lum over and he has it, and that's the inning. Well, the Cubs out 1-2-3 here in the third, and at the middle of inning number 3, Chicago 2, Cincinnati 1.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real deal lovers know only one deal will do. Stroll for the real deal lover. Stroll, taste like no other. Stroll for the real deal lover. Everyone knows it's the real lover's beer. Family brew, over 200 years. Real deal lovers, baby, go out of their way for a stroll. The real deal lover, stroll, tastes like no other. Stroll for the real deal lover. From one deal lover to another. Stroll.
The Stroll Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Well, the Reds need a couple to get even. It'll be Mike Lum, Mike Lacoste, and Pete Rose as Cincinnati bats in the third inning. Lum hitting .282, 5 home runs, 20 RBIs, and 6 doubles. The Reds with 1 hit off Russell through 2 innings. That was Joe Morgan single to center field in the first. Russell waiting on Lum. Mike's in, and Rick winds and delivers. Lum takes a breaking ball at the knees. A called strike. On 1 the count. Russell has his sign and his 0-1. Outside, the ball, fastball. 1-1. Lacoste on deck. Russell delivers the 1-1. That's on the inside corner at the knees. A called strike, and it's a ball, 2 strikes now to Mike. Waiting on Lum to step back in. He's there, and Russell delivers the 1-2. Curveball is swung on and chopped foul off the first base line. Bill Buckner full of pep tonight. One and 2 to count. The pitch, fastball just high and inside. Count evens 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Bum swings, drops it down the left field line, and that one is going to be a foul ball. So Mike popping it down the left field line, but dropping foul. Dave Kingman over and retrieves the baseball. Count will hold to 2 balls, 2 strikes to Lum. It's the 10th game of the year between Chicago and Cincinnati. The Reds have won 5, and the Cubs 4. Finish season's play with Chicago Sunday afternoon. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Mike Lum, leading it off here in the 3rd. The pitch low and inside. Count goes full. Russell the payoff. Lum swings and fouls it off to the left side. That'll settle back into the seats. The Reds were in Chicago this past weekend, set a new 4-game attendance record for the Cubs. Again, the 3-2. Lum again fouls out of play. Like Mike might have been looking for something there. That was a fastball, and Mike just chopping at it to protect himself. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. Russell winds and delivers. That swung on a ground ball. Trillo has it at second. On to Buckner, 1 away. 1 out, and pitcher Mike Lacoste steps in. .118. He's had 2 hits and 17 times up, has driven in a run. Russell to the plate. Lacoste swings, chops it foul off to the left. One delivery. Low. 1-1. Pete Rose on deck. Cubs with a team batting average of .256. The Reds at .259. Lacoste bounces one right back to Russell. Back on to Buckner. 2 out, and Rose steps in. Pete in the first inning, leading off the game for the Reds. Hit one to Kingman, deep left center field. Those 5 home runs, 35 RBIs, and 43 doubles. 3 triples last night. The official scoring change. Fastball is inside the Rose, ball 1. In the 3rd inning, Marty pointed it up. Pete single and charged Lou Brock with an error. They've taken the error away and credited Pete with a double. Russell in with a fastball at the knees and a ball strike, 1-1. Russell back, and a curve drops on the outside corner, and Pete not happy with that call by plate umpire Les Treidel. 1-2 to count. The 1-2. Rose swings on it, a fastball up and in, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Rick Russell. The Reds out in order. Russell has now retired 8 straight batters. So the Reds nothing across, and after 3, Chicago 2, Cincinnati nothing.
Man, I love to drive on the open road and listen to that old night wind blow. Chewing Red Fox, it sure does ease my mind. Riding this ribbon on through the dark. No place to stop, no place to park. Me and Red Fox chewing tobacco, making up lost time. The Red Fox folks know what they're doing when it comes to making tobacco for chewing. For relaxation, man, it's one of a kind. It's moist and soft and mild for sure. The flavor's fresh, the taste is pure. It settles you down and helps a man unwind. Why don't you try Red Fox? Look for it in the white pouch with the picture of Old Red taking it easy. Red Fox chewing tobacco. Now it's better than ever. So when that highway starts to call, run with the fox that beats them all, Red Fox. 'Cause Mr. Taking It Easy never tasted so good. Red Fox.
In the fourth inning for the Cubs, it'll be Kingman, Trillo, and DeJesus. Kingman got the two-run second inning underway for Chicago by drawing a walk from Mike Lacoste. Moved to second on a base hit by Trillo, to third on an infield single by Tim Blackwell, and scored on Rick Russell's two-run single to right. He and Trillo scoring. Kingman with 21 home runs and 58 RBIs and a .234 batting average. Kingman steps in, Lacoste winds and delivers, and Kingman takes a fastball inside. Lacoste delivers. Kingman swings on a curveball, grounds it to the right of second base, and that'll go into right center for a base hit as the Reds infield pulled around to the left. Morgan on the left side of second. Hit number 5 for Chicago. That'll bring Manny Trillo to the plate. Manny singled to center in the second inning. He has a .259 batting average, has hit 3 home runs, and has driven in 41. Cross to the belt, checks Kingman, delivers. Trillo swings, and a shot by Concepcion into left field. A Trillo 2 for 2. Davey tried to backhand, but the ball got under his glove and on into left. So back-to-back singles here in the fourth for the Cubs, and it'll be Ivan DeJesus. DeJesus called out on strikes in the second, and Ivan not really happy with the call by plate umpire Les Tridle. And the same situation for Ivan. He was up to bunt in the second inning. See what Herman has him doing here. Herman Franks, the Cubs manager. Blackwell on deck. Cubs with 6 hits in the game. 5 singles, 1 double. Buckner with the double. Across stretch and the pitch. Jesus squares the bunt and butts him a foul off the first baseline. Now Dave Kingman wants to have a word with Joe Amalfitano, the Chicago third base coach. Apparently Dave not sure of the sign that has been given. Looking to bench, has his sign, and the pitch. DeJesus squares the bunt, does first base side. Driessen up with it. He'll throw back to Morgan, and the sacrifice works as Kingman moves on to third. Trillo to second. The play going 3-4 on the put out of DeJesus. One away, and Blackwell steps in. Blackwell, an infield single in the second inning. A high chopper off the plate. Mike Lacoste fielding the ball, but could not make a play at any of the bases. They're going to intentionally pass Blackwell to get to Rick Russell. Now this will load him up again for Russell. Rick came up with the bases loaded in the second inning with 1 out and singled to right field to drive in the 2 Chicago runs. Here's ball 4, and Blackwell will move on to first base. Oh, with 1 away, bases loaded, Rick Russell the batter. Blackwell first base, Trillo at second, and Kingman at third, and 1 out. The Cubs leading 2-0. Lacoste will work from the windup. Reds outfield around to the right for Russell. The wind, the pitch. Rick swings and pulls it down the left field line, but foul and not by much. Boy, that ball wasn't fouled by any more than an inch. Right now, we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Complete Cincinnati Reds baseball coverage is yours on Zebra 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
On one to count to Russell, the bases loaded. Lacrosse winds and delivers. That swung on and hit into center field. Mike Lum coming in and almost ran under. Dave Kingman will score easily. 3-0 will move on to third base, and it's a 3-0 ball game, and Rick Russell has driven in all 3 runs. Mike hoping the Charge didn't have a shot at it, but it carried a little further than he expected. So Russell with a sacrifice fly, his 3rd RBI of the game, and the Cubs lead 3-0. Two away, and Greg Gross, the batter. Gross 0 for 2. He grounded to second in the first and bounced into an inning-ending double play in the second. Pedro Bourbon throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. The Cubs leading at 3-0. You got Trillo at third and Blackwell at first. A stretch in the pitch. Inside the ball. Gross hitting .261. He's had a home run and 33 RBIs. Greg, a former Houston Astro. Across has the sign. A stretch in the pitch. Gross looks at the curve that's inside. 2-0 to count. Bourbon throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Cubs leading 3-0. Two-0 to Gross. Greg takes it on the outside corner, called strike. 2-1. A pass to the belt. 2-1 delivery. Outside. 3 balls to strike. Rick Russell had a batting average of 111 and had driven in just 1 run on the year, but he now has 4 as he's driven in 3 tonight. 3-1 the count to Gross. The stretch and the pitch. Gross swings, ground ball in the hole into right field. That'll score 1 more run, and the Cubs lead it by a 4-0 score. So Greg Gross gets his 34th RBI of the year, and Manny Trillo scores from third base. The batter will be Rodney Scott. Blackwell moves to second. Gross now at first. 7 hits for Chicago. And Scott steps in. The stretch and the pitch. That's taken high and outside the ball. Toss ready. Delivers. Scott swings and he lines one to center field. That's a base hit. Charging is Mike Lum. Here comes the throw to the plate, and it is in time. Mike Lum, a strong throw to Johnny Bench. John had to go out and get it, come back, but he was able to put the tag on Tim Blackwell, and that ends the inning. For Chicago, they pick up 2 more runs on 4 hits. There were no Cincinnati errors. 2 runners left on base, and at the middle of the 4th, Chicago 4, Cincinnati 0.
Hirschman's of Richmond, Ohio is the headquarters for Spartan Chainsaws. Spartan Chainsaws feature lightweight construction, positive action, easy pull rewind starter, safety off-on slide ignition switch, easy cleaning Futron air filter, fully enclosed self-lubricating electrical braking points, and an effective Q-tone exhaust system. Also, Every Spartan unit is started, run, and performance checked at the factory before being released for sale. Spartan chainsaws distributed by Hirschman's. See your local dealer or call Hirschman's, Richmond, Ohio. Hirschman's also distributes Trimet, the Whiz Witch by Huffco. The Trimet converts most chainsaws into a powerful grass and weed trimmer in just minutes with the Huffco CSA unit, and for less than you pay for most lightweight, cumbersome electric trimmer units. See the Trimet at your local Hirschman's distributor.
Well, the Reds trail the Cubs 4-0 as they bat in the bottom half of the fourth inning. It'll be Morgan, Griffey, and Foster to start things off. Joe owns the one base hits the Reds have had off Rick Russell, not a single to center in the first inning. Joe hitting .243 with 8 home runs, 65 RBIs, and Morgan has had 25 doubles. Russell delivers the first pitch to Morgan, and Joe bluffs the bunt, and it's a strike at the knees. And Rodney Scott playing behind the line and now moves in front of the front line at third. The pitch. Morgan looks at a strike, and it's quickly 0-2 to Joe. Russell getting the inside corner with a fastball. Russell lines and delivers. Morgan checks on a breaking pitch, and they check with third base umpire, and he says nothing going on. A 1-2 the count to Morgan. Blackwell hangs the sign and the pitch. Morgan swings and fouls out of play to the left. Reds and the Cubs tomorrow afternoon, 2:15 game time. A 1-2 pitch. That's swung on and chopped foul into the Cincinnati dugout. Cub outfield, around to the right for Morgan. 1-2 the count. Russell delivers. Morgan takes it low, and the count evens 2-2. Pitch on the way outside. Full count now to Joe. Russell has not walked anyone. He has struck out 3. And Griffey on deck. Russell the payoff. Morgan slings, ground ball. Buckner at first has it. He waves Russell away, and one away, and Griffey steps in. Penny struck out in the first inning. Griff hitting .290 with 8 home runs and 47 RBIs. 8 home runs, the second highest in Ken's major league career. He hit 12 last year. Wide the pitch. Griff swings on a high fastball. Doesn't get it. Griffey away from the plate, now back in. Russell winds and delivers, and Ken swings and bounces to Trillo at second. Trillo on to Buckner, 2 out. Right now, Rick Russell making things look quite easy. He has retired 10 straight batters. George Foster grounded to Trillo. Trillo making a nice play off to his right, fielding and throwing George out on a close play at first in the first inning. Chicago outfield. Rose pulled way around in center to left, but they give George quite a bit of room in right center field. Although Mercer is well off the line and right. The pitch up high, ball. Russell 12 and 11 on the year. This is 27th start. He's 4th against the Reds. Beaten the Reds 3 straight times this year. The pitch. That's on the outside edge. A called strike. 1-1. Rick back to the plate. Foster takes inside. 2 balls to strike. Russell has the sign and the 2-1. Low and outside. 3 balls to strike. Rick waiting on the sign and the 3-1 delivery. That swung on and hit foul down the right side, back into the seats. Count full now to Foster. 2 out, the base is empty. Cubs leading 4-0. Reds with just 1 hit off Rick Russell through 3+ innings. Russell has his sign and the payoff. High and inside. He tried to change up and didn't get it over, so that's the first walk issued by Russell, and Manny Trillo will be the batter. Manny bounced back to the mound in the 2nd inning. Trillo hitting .272, 16 home runs, 65 RBI. The stretch in the pitch. Driessen takes high and outside, ball 1. A 1-0. Driessen again takes high and outside, and the count goes 2 balls, no strikes. And now Tim Blackwell will go to the mound to have a word with Rick Russell. Well, you wouldn't believe it, but the Cubs as a team have a bigger ERA than we do. 396 to 384. Two 2-0 the count to Driessen. Blackwell back behind the plate. Foster at first. Buckner playing behind him. Here's the 2-0. That's high, and it's 3 balls, no strikes. Russell a pitch away from issuing his 2nd straight walk. Here's the pitch. Driessen takes ball 4, high and outside. Oh, we got 2 out with 2 out, and now Mike O'Rourke, the Chicago pitching coach, out to the mound to check things out with Rick Russell. He heads back to the Chicago dugout now. Oh, with 2 away, 2 on, Johnny Bench the batter. John struck out in the 2nd inning. John with 18 home runs and 48 RBI. Russell ready and delivers. High with a curveball. All of a sudden, Rick Russell having problems finding the plate. Now they check the baseball out, and Tim Blackwell tells Les Tridle that he wants another. Actually, Russell wasn't going to call for it. Peanuts Lowry yelling at Blackwell that Russell will get another baseball, and he has it. 1-0 the count, and the pitch. Bench swings and hits it into left field. That'll score a run. Greg Gross plays it on the bounce in left center, and George Foster scores. It's a 4-1 ball game. John getting jammed on the pitch and dropping it into left center field for a base hit. He picks up his 49th RBI, and Dave Concepcion the batter. Foster scoring from second. Driessen moves to second. 4-1 game, and just like that, we got the tying run at the plate. Concepcion in the second inning grounded to Trillo at second base. Borbon heads to the Reds bullpen to start throwing the pitch. That's high and inside, ball one. Russell has his sign. Delivers. Concepcion swings and pops it foul. Not even 1-1 to David. How about field shading Concepcion around to the right? Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. That pitch blowing outside. That David going after a bad pitch. 1-2. Driessen at second, bench at first. 2 outs and a run in. Russell sets and delivers. That's swung on and chopped to Buckner wide of first. He'll go to second to the Jesus. They force bench, and that's the inning. The Reds in the inning got a run on a hit. There were no errors. 2 runners left on base. The end of 4. Chicago 4, Cincinnati 1.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's taste like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. Everybody knows it's the beer lover's beer. It's family brew. Over 200 years, real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a Stroh's. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's taste like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another Stroh's. Stroh's, the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Cubs leading the Reds 4-1 after 4 innings of play here at Riverfront. Chicago has had 8 hits in the game, the Reds 2. For the Cubs, it'll be Bill Buckner leading it off in the 5th, and back bringing the action, Marty Brenneman.
Thank you, Joe. Buckner 1 for 2. He doubled in the first inning and then flied out in the third. Griffey going back and making a nice running catch in the alley in right center field. Well, Mike Lacasse not having a good outing tonight. As Joe mentioned, the Cubs have gotten to him for 4 runs, 2 in the second and 2 in the fourth, on a total of 8 base hits. Hoping to change things around here in the 5th inning as he faces Buckner, Murcer, and Kingman. They've got an interesting game going in Atlanta tonight. Cardinals scored 5 times in the third inning, 4 of them on a grand slam by George Hendrick, and then the other on a home run by Kenny Reitz, but Atlanta came right back to get 4 runs in the bottom of the third, 3 of them on Bob Horner's 16th home run of the season. Now, you want to talk about your candidates for Rookie of the Year? Here's a young man who has done it beginning on the 14th of June. What a year he has had as a rookie third baseman for the Braves. Okay, Buckner climbs in. Rose will play him a bit shallow at third base. Here's a pitch to the plate, and Billy looks at the first one low, ball 1. Lacasse winds a 1-0 delivery, and that swung on a bat handle foul ball will come to the near end of the Cincinnati dugout. A ball and 1 strike. Cubs win this game tonight. They will have won half of the 10 games played between the two teams, with, of course, 2 games remaining in this series. 1 ball, 1 strike. Buckner grounds it up the middle and into center field. Base hit number 9 for the Cubs. Looked like Lacasse had ideas of trying to play that one with his bare right hand. And as the ball goes up the middle, Pedro Bourbon goes to the Reds bullpen to begin throwing again. Bobby Murcer 0 for 2. He has struck out and fly to center. Murcer taking his lead. Lacasse looking that way, and now pitches. Murcer takes it high, ball one. Pitch. That's again upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, Mike Lacasse giving up a leadoff base hit to Bill Buckner and has fallen behind 2-0 on Bobby Murcer. Swung on, a ground to the first. Driessen will go to Concepcion. Return throw to Driessen. Double play. So just like that, a 3-6-3 double play wipes the bases clean. That brings to the plate the left fielder Dave Kingman. Kingman has walked and scored. He has singled and scored a run. They beat the shift on him in the 4th inning, leading off by grounding one into center field. And the Reds again put the shift on him. Let's see what he'll do this time. As we pointed out in Chicago last week early in the season, he was content to go to right. This time he grounds to Concepcion. Davey up, and the throw to first ends the Chicago 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on. We're halfway through the Friday night series opener in Cincinnati with a score. Cubs 4, Reds 1.
When it's time for a change, what you'd probably like to have is a change for the better. That's why Marathon came up with new Ultra D motor oil. It is definitely a change for the better. Marathon's new Ultra D motor oil is a change for better gas mileage.
A change for the better.
New Ultra D is a change for improved engine protection.
A change for the better.
New Ultra D is a change that means faster starts no matter what the temperature.
A change for the better.
Marathon's new Ultra D motor oil is a special blend of natural and synthetic ingredients. It's really different from conventional blends. Meaning when Ultra D gets together with the engine of your car, things do get better.
It's a change for the better. With new Ultra D motor oil.
New Ultra D motor oil. A change for the better. From the people who do it better. Marathon Oil Company.
Make a change for the better. With new Ultra D. Make a change for the better. With new.
Well, it promises to be a home run hitting contest like no other home run hitting contest you've ever seen. Of course, we're talking about the Cincinnati Reds Wives home run hitting contest that will take place before the Reds-Cubs game on Sunday afternoon. Come early for all the fun. Introductions of the Wives will get underway about 1:40, followed by a home run hitting contest that promises to provide a lot of laughs for everyone. Mike Lum will lead off the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Reds got a run home against Russell in the 4th. Had only 2 hits in the first 4 innings, and here's a high fly ball. Hit back into deep right center field. Murcer looks to Gross. Gross looks to Murcer, and Greg Gross, the center fielder, hauls it in. First pitch hitting, Lum out, fly ball center. That brings up pinch hitter Dave Collins. The Reds' annual team photo day is set for Sunday, September 10th here when the Reds take on the Giants. Everybody at the ball game gets an official 1978 Reds team photo. So Sparky Anderson forced to go to his bench here in the 5th inning. A not so good outing for Mike Lacasse tonight. He goes 5 innings, allowing 4 runs, all earned on 9 hits, struck out 2 and walked 1. And Collins, a .216 batter, comes to the plate. Scoreboard stumper tonight. Who led the Cubs in home runs in the 1977 season? Who was the Cubs home run hitter and home run leader, rather, last year? Russell to Collins. Ball 1, low inside. Rick leading by 3 runs as he tries to win his 4th game without defeat this season at the expense of the Reds. Here's a bunt attempt by Collins, and he gets nothing but air. 1 ball and 1 strike. Check swing. The pitch is low for a ball. 2-1. Well, you look at this Montreal ball club that they put on the field tonight, and you certainly cannot call it homegrown by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, of the 9 players on the field, only 1 came up through the system. That's the pitcher, Russell. High chop. Collins out at first base on a throw from the pitcher, Russell. That ball bounced off the plate very high in the air, and despite Dave's good speed, not able to beat it out as Russell fired quickly on to Bill Buckner. Buckner coming in a trade with the Dodgers. Manny Trillo they picked up from the Oakland A's. Ivan De Jesus coming from Los Angeles. Rodney Scott they got in a trade from the Oakland A's. Dave Kingman, of course, was a free agent. Greg Gross they acquired in a trade with Houston. Bobby Murcer from the San Francisco Giants. Here's Rose bouncing to shortstop. There's a throw to first, and the Reds are quickly out in the 5th inning. 3 up and 3 down, and after 5 full, the Cubs over the Reds 4-1.
Some people wonder why spend money on replacement windows when they already have good windows in their home. Well, maybe some of these New Sash customer letters will help you understand why. Dear Mr. Johnson, I wondered about spending money on New Sash windows, but my reservations are now gone. My wife thinks they're beautiful and very easy to clean, but the amazing thing is that we keep the thermostat on 65 degrees all winter long, and our furnace only comes on 4 or 5 times a day instead of 10 or 15 times as in the past. Thank you. Our New Sash windows are paying for themselves. If fuel savings are important to you this winter, give Bill Johnson a call at 267-8396. New Sash is the only window with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, and New Sash replacement windows are custom made for a perfect fit. Call Bill Johnson at 267-8396 and let him show you how to save up to 30% or more in heating costs. That 24-hour number again, 267-8396. Always ask for the original New Sash.
Joe Nuxall and Marty Brenneman back at Riverfront as we head on into the 6th inning, trailing the Cubs 4-1. New pitcher on the mound now for Cincinnati, right-hander Pedro Bourbon. Bourbon making his 51st appearance, carries a record of 6 wins and 2 losses and an earned run average of 445. The answer to the scoreboard stumper, the Chicago Cubs home run leader last year, Bobby Murcer. Their right fielder blasted 27. Hit only 7 this season. Manny Trillo, 2 for 2, has singled twice and has scored 2 of the 4 Chicago runs. He's batting now .263. Up some 4 points from his game-time batting average. Cubs have out-hit us 9-2. Bourbon delivers a taken strike. Trillo, strike 2 call. Well, they got that showdown at Indianapolis tonight. AAA Farm Club, currently in first place in the East by a half game, takes on second place Evansville. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's a 3-game weekend series in Indianapolis starting tonight. The thing should be extremely interesting at Busch Stadium. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a fastball away. The weekly television highlight show This Week in Baseball will air in most cities tomorrow or Sunday. Check your local listing for time and channel. Talking about that Indianapolis club in the new issue of the Sporting News. It'll be hitting the newsstands next week in the section covering the American Association. The feature article is on Champ Summers and Arturo De Freitas. Here's a liner down the right field line. That'll fall for a base hit. De Jesus takes a turn. He comes to second, and he'll be in standing with a 1-out double. Cubs shortstop's first base hit, and number 10 in the game for the team as a whole. Of course, Champ Summers and Arturo De Freitas comprising the most potent 1-2 punch in professional baseball. Consider that Summers has got 32 home runs, and I think the figure we received last night was that Freitas had 31. Here's Tim Blackwell, the catcher, and the pitch is high for a ball. Of course, Champ is trying to win the Triple Crown in that league, leading in home runs and in runs batted in and battling it out for batting average leadership. Line drive hit to right field. That's going to score De Jesus. Here comes Blackwell. Now he puts on the brakes, and he'll hold at first base with a long run-scoring single. 5-1 Chicago. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Follow the exciting Cincinnati Reds action in 1978 on FM 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
Back-to-back base hits, got another Chicago run in, so they now lead again by 4 runs, and here's been the big guy at the plate. In addition to the job he's turned in on the mound, Rick Russell, he's knocked in 3 runs with a 2-run single and a sacrifice fly. He swings and misses. Now the bunt that's foul and popped high in the air back of the plate. 0-2 the count. Russell trying to bunt Blackwell over. Now he'll swing away, but holds up on that swing as the pitch misses way outside. Cubs trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, and they're on top 5-1 in the 6th inning. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Here's the leadoff batter, Greg Gross, who's been up 3 times, has singled once, and has driven in a run. Talking about the Cub players and how they've come from all over, with the exception of Rick Russell, those in the starting lineup tonight. Here's a called strike. Blackwell we did not get to. Tim was picked up in a minor trade with the Montreal Expos, so Russell the only homegrown product, so to speak, in the Chicago lineup tonight. Bouncing ball up the middle. Concepcion flags it down and steps on second for the force out. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. After 5.5, Chicago, for the second time tonight, enjoys a 4-run lead at 5-1.
The time is right, that feeling coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroll for the real beer lovers. Stroll, take back no other stroll for the real beer lovers. Everyone knows it's the beer lovers beer. Family brew for over 200 years. Real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a stroll. Oh, yeah, stroll for the real beer lovers. Stroll, take back no other stroll for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another stroll.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
After tonight's game, only 17 more home dates remain for the Reds here at Riverfront. Looking ahead to next month, all 5 rivals in the National League West will be in, including the Giants on Saturday, September 9th and Sunday, September 10th. And the Dodgers for 3 games, September 26th, 27th, and 28th. Check your Red schedule and order your tickets in advance by mail. Box seats are $5, reserved seats $4. Make your check or money order payable to Cincinnati Reds, Box 1970, Cincinnati. Please include 50 cents for postage and handling. Joe Morgan is in to start off the bottom of the 6th inning, and boy, I'll tell you, it's been another case tonight against this particular man, Rick Russell. of nothing going on as far as the Reds' offense. Morgan has had one of the two hits, a solid single to center in the first inning. He takes it low and inside. Now you look at Rick's record with 11 losses, and obviously somebody has beaten on him this season, but the Reds have been rendered helpless by this guy. 2 balls and no strikes. Russell, a quick worker. Morgan swings and fouls away the 2-0 pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to straightaway center field. Drifting back is Greg Gross, and he hauls it in. Morgan flies to center to start off the 6th. Here's Ken Griffey. Reds Radio Network brings Cincinnati Reds baseball to fans in 7 states, and you can hear Reds games in Frankfurt on WKYW, in Gallipolis on WJEH, WYPC, in Hartford City, Indiana on WWHC, and in Norton, Virginia on WNVA. Griffey has struck out and grounded out to second in 2 times up. He looks at first pitch delivered by Rushello. Swung on and another high fly ball to center field. Rose with his second chance of the inning, and he plays it flawlessly. 2 out. George Foster will be the batter. Foster grounded out in the first inning. Trillo making a nice play on top of the second base bag. Then in the 4th with 2 out, Foster and Driessen drew consecutive walks. And then Johnny Bench plated the lone run to date with a broken bat single into left center. Ball 1. Swing and a miss. Foster waiting on Russell's 1-1. And takes this one low and inside. 2 balls and a strike. All the Reds' hits have been singles by Morgan in the first inning and Johnny Bench's base hit in the 4th. Curveball is high and inside. 3-1. Foster looks out toward the mound as Russell kicks and fires. Swung on, a looper into left center field. That'll drop. Kingman plays it on the bounce. Foster takes a turn, and he'll hold at first base with a 2-out single. That keeps the inning going for Danny Driessen. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Buckner will play behind Foster at first with 2 down, and there's a high pop-up back into left center going out to Jesus, and he calls and makes the catch. Reds are out in the 6th inning with no runs on a hit and 1 man left on. After 6 complete, Cubs 5, Cincinnati 1. Cubs, and right now Herman Frank's ball club out in front 5-1. They'll be leading things off with third baseman Rodney Scott, and back with a play, here's Joe.
All right, Marty, Scott 1 for 3 tonight. He singled his last time up in the 4th inning. In fact, Scott singled to center. Mike Lund charging it and was able to throw Tim Blackwell out at the plate on a good play by Johnny Bench. Scott has grounded to second, grounded to short, and singled to center, and 3 times to the plate. Pedro Borbon in his 2nd inning of work. He came on in the 6th. Cubs got a couple of hits off of him, scored a run, and Pedro has struck out 2. Bone winds and delivers, and Scott takes a strike. Cubs scoring 2 in the second, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the sixth. They lead it 5-1. About hit the Reds 11-3. Pedro delivers. Scott takes on the outside corner, a called strike, and quickly it's 0-2. Scott away from the plate, now steps back in. Bone, the 0-2 delivery. That's swung on and chopped foul. Bone feeling the ball, but umpires calling foul. Elsewhere in the National League at Atlanta, after 4.5 innings, the Cardinals leading the Braves 6-4. Here's the 0-2. Scott takes a fastball, called strike 3, and that ball right there. Third strikeout for Bone, and that'll bring Bill Buckner to the plate. Bill 2 for 3 tonight. Doubled in the first, singled in the fifth. Pedro into the wind and the pitch. Buckner takes a strike on the outside edge. Out in Houston, the Astros scored 2 in the first, lead the Pirates 2-0 after an inning and a half. The only games underway at this time in the National League. 0-1 delivery. Buckner throws his bat at the ball, grounds it to Driessen at first base. Danny goes to the bag, and Buckner stops halfway down just to be convenient for him to pick up the bat, but the bat boy beats him in. The 2 away, that brings Bobby Murcer to the plate. Bobby 0 for 3 tonight. His last time up, grounded into a double play. In the American League, one final, the Toronto Blue Jays over the Milwaukee Brewers 7-3. Pitch to Murcer on the outside corner, called strike. Seattle at Baltimore after 5 innings. Baltimore leading 2-0. California at Boston after 5.5, 3-0 Boston. 0-1. Mercer takes it low, and it's even at a ball, a strike. Oakland at New York. That game tied up 1-1 after 4. Detroit leading. There's a swing and a little pop off to the left of the plate, foul territory. Bench has it, and that's the inning. Oh, the Cubs out in order in the 7th, nothing across, and at the middle of inning number 7, Cubs 5, Reds 1.
Electrocom sells Johnson radios because Johnson has a reputation for building tough, reliable equipment. All Johnson two-way land mobile FM radios feature advanced solid-state circuitry, and all meet or exceed the Electronics Industry Association standards for resistance to vibration, shock, humidity, and temperature extremes. Plus, the 1-year Johnson guarantee, which states, within 1 year of purchase, the E.F. Johnson Company will provide the parts and labor to repair your Johnson equipment if it is defective in material or workmanship. Just return the unit to any authorized Johnson service center in the United States. Electrocom at 1883 Phoebus Avenue is the Central Ohio distributor of fine E.F. Johnson products. Also, Electrocom has immediate openings for experienced salespeople or individuals with technical background in electronic communications and are willing to learn to sell. You'll be salaried plus many company benefits. If you're interested in being a part of the communication industry, call or visit Electrocom at 1883 Phoebus Avenue.
For the Reds in the 7th, it'll be Bench, Concepcion, and Lum. The Reds trailing the Cubs 5-1. Had just 3 hits off Rick Russell through 6. All of them singles. Morgan single in the first, a single by Bench in the 4th to drive in a run, and George Foster single in the 6th. Waiting on John to get to the plate. All right, Bench steps in and Russell onto the pitching river. And his first pitch on the way. John swings and chops it foul to the Chicago dugout. John's RBI in the 4th inning, his 49th of the year. Tommy Hume heads to the Reds bullpen to start throwing. Bench looks at a breaking ball that's in the dirt outside. 1-1. Now Rush will ask for another baseball from plate umpire Les Tridle. Concepcion on deck. Here's the 1-1. John swings and grounds it foul off the third base side. A ball, 2 strikes. Russell back to the plate. Bench takes a half swing on a breaking ball that's outside and goes too far. 4 strikeout for Rick Russell. 1 away, and Dave Concepcion the batter. Dave 0 for 2 is grounded to second and bounced into a force out. A line to pitch way outside, bounces away from Tim Blackwell, the Chicago catcher. Mentioned that one final in the American League, that was Toronto beating Minnesota 7-3. 1-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled to the screen. And Milwaukee trailing Detroit 4-0 after 4 innings at Detroit. After 3 at Chicago, Cleveland and the White Sox tied 1-1. The 1-1 sidearm curve, and that's, well, they check with the first base umpire, Mick Sharkey, and he says no, sir, he did not go. And I'll tell you one thing, Les Tridle didn't waste any time at all asking his first base umpire. The pitch on the way, swung on in a fly ball to right field. Drifting back, Bobby Murcer. He's there waiting, and he has it 2 away. Two out, Mike Lum steps in. Mike 0 for 2 is grounded to second, and a fly ball to Gross in right center field. The Reds going down very easily to Rick Russell at this particular point. Lum swings, lines one down the left field line. That'll be a base hit. Cutting the ball off is Kingman. Here goes Lum for second. He's there easily with a double. Mike's 7th double of the year, the Reds' 4th hit of the game, and we'll have a pinch hitter for Pedro Bourbon. Mike Lum doubles to left. And it'll be Ken Henderson to hit for Pedro. Henderson hitting 197, pinch hitting. Ken has 3 hits and 20 times up. It'll be Lum at second base with 2 out. I have some activity down in the Chicago bullpen, and guess who it is? The one-fingered fastballer or whatever. Split-fingered fastball, but by name, it's Bruce Sutter. he's already ready, I believe. All right, Ken Henderson will go to the plate to hit for Pedro Bourbon. Henderson, a switch hitter, will hit left-handed against Rick Russell. Lum at second base, 2 away. Cubs leading 5-1. Russell to the belt and delivers. Henderson swings and fouls straight back and out of play. Tommy Hume throwing in the Reds bullpen. He'll be the pitcher in the top of the 8th. Russell ready. The 0-1. Henderson swings and again fouls out of play to the left. Hooker the count goes 0-2 to Henderson. Russell shakes off a sign from Blackwell. And the 0-2. Her ball drops on the outside corner, calls strike 3, and Henderson questioning the plate umpire, but that takes care of things here in the 7th for the Reds. No runs, a hit, no errors, a runner left on base, and at the end of 7, Chicago 5, Cincinnati 1.
Only one beer will do. Strong for the real beer lover. Strong tastes like no other. Strong for the real beer lover. Everyone knows it's the beer lover's beer. Family food for over 200 years. Real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a Strong. Strong for the real beer lover. Strong tastes like no other. Strong for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another Strong.
The Strong Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
7-inning totals show the Cubs with 5 runs on 11 hits and no errors. The Reds have run 4 hits, no errors. New pitcher on the mound for the Reds. To tell you about him, here's Marty.
New pitcher, right-hander Tommy Hume. He's with a record of 6 wins and 11 losses and a .483 earned run average. 11th time this season Tom has pitched in relief. He's made 20 starts. Pedro Bourbon goes 2, allows a run on 2 hits, struck out 3 batters, so Hume becomes our 3rd pitcher of the evening. Cubs will be going to the plate with Dave Kingman, Manny Trillo, and Ivan De Jesus. Cubs have ridden the pitching and the hitting of Rick Russell tonight to this 5-1 lead. He has driven in 3 of Chicago's 5 runs and has limited Cincinnati to 4 hits and a run in 7 innings full. Kingman 1 for 2. He's walked, singled, and grounded out to Dave Concepcion in the 5th inning. On the defense, overshifting to the left side for Kingman, who has hammered 21 home runs this season. Here's a pitch to him, and he swings and he misses at a pitch down and away. 21 home runs, despite the fact Dave missed almost a month because of a pulled hamstring muscle. Once again, Bruce Sutter goes down to the Cubs bullpen to begin loosening up. Strike 1 pitch. Misses low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gene Klein's playing catch down in the Chicago bullpen with, it looks like, Mick Kelleher. Well, we may see some defensive changes for Chicago in the bottom of the inning. 1-1 to count on Dave Kingman. He swings, grounds to short. Davey charges, plays on the second big hop. Bouncing throw to Driessen, got him. Avery delivering that long one bouncer to Danny Driessen to easily retire Kingman. And got that throw down to a fine science. Maybe, of course, playing, as we mentioned earlier tonight, about a shallow left field for Kingman, and we've seen him make that throw to Driessen many times before this season. Manny Trillo, ball one. He's 2 singles and 3 times up. There's a call strike, a fastball, 1-1. Pitch is low, a breaking ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Sparky Anderson standing down at the far end of the Reds dugout talking with Coach Russ Nixon. And, well, I'll tell you, the Red skipper is mystified as anybody over his club's inability to hit and the relatively poor pitching that they have been receiving of late. We got some good relief pitching last night, but that was after the damage had been done. 3-1 to count on Trillo. He lofts a fly ball to right, driving Ken Griffey back, and he puts it away for the second out. Batter will be Ivan De Jesus. He has struck out, sacrificed, and doubled and scored a run. Ready, he kicks and he throws. De Jesus looks at a strike at the knees, 0-1. That's low for a ball. Well, in the American League Western Division, that a very tight race involving California and Kansas City. The Angels leading by 1/2 game. They're losing tonight. There's a foul out of play off the right side. Boston shutting him out 3-0 in the 6th inning behind Dennis Eckersley, while Kansas City involved in a scoreless game in Arlington, Texas in the 4th inning. Jim Fregosi has his ball club playing excellent baseball right now, and of course when you do it, this is a time of year you want to. If you're going to be involved in a tight pennant race, right now is the time to get it going. 2-2, the count on De Jesus. Boston leading by 6.5 over Milwaukee. And the Brewers are down by 4 runs in the 5th inning at Tiger Stadium. Swung on and hit by Concepcion into left center field. Lum sweeps deep into the alley to cut it off. Here comes De Jesus to second. Here comes the throw. Safe at second base. Double. Lum was playing De Jesus to hit toward right. He hit that ball into the left center field alley, and Mike did a good job of cutting it off otherwise. De Jesus may well have been standing at third base. Hit number 12 for the Cubs, and that'll bring up the catcher Tim Blackwell, who has singled twice and drawn an intentional walk. He's got a run batted in. Strike call. Joe mentioned earlier the Pirates trailing early in Houston 2-0 after an inning and a half. Rooker against Necro. But the Cubs winning here in Cincinnati, and if they win this game, they can continue to apply the pressure on that slumping Philadelphia team. Ball fouled off to the left. I guess Danny Ozark a little bit mystified right now by what's happening with his team, a team that was the odds-on favorite to win the East, and of course they still have a 3.5 game lead. But boy, when you think about the way the Pirates have been playing of late and Pittsburgh's track record in the past of being a good finishing ball club, half swing foul into the Cub dugout, and boy, that one almost got manager Herman Franks and Coach Peanuts Lowry and Larry Bittner. Got the boys up and rattling around in there. Bouncer to first. Danny Driessen plays it. He'll underhand to the pitcher Hume, and that's all for Blackwell and the Cubs. No runs on a hit. One left. Time running out for Cincinnati. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing Chicago 5-1.
Well, we loaded up the dogs in the pickup truck, heading out hunting and hoping for luck. Raring to go where the country is good as new. We'd hunt for a spell and then settle down, take it easy and gather round, pass a red fox chewing tobacco and have a chew. Later on, when we's all done in, we build a fire, let the story spin, open up another pouch and had another chew. Red Fox is mild, and like I say, a taste that fresh tastes good all day. Like a Tennessee hound, Red Fox won't let you down. Why don't you try Red Fox? Look for it in the white pouch with the picture of Old Red taking it easy. Red Fox chewing tobacco, now it's better than ever. One day real soon, between me and you, I'm heading back to the fields with my Red Fox chew, 'cause mister, taking it easy never tasted so good. Red Fox.
Well, as the Reds come calling in the bottom of the 8th inning, we've got 3 changes for Chicago, and before we tell you about them, we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
This is the voice of the Cincinnati Reds for Central Ohio. Zebra 100, WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
Rick Russell gone after 7 innings, and in his place is right-hander Bruce Sutter. At third base, Mick Kelleher, and in left field, Gene Kleins. Pete Rose will lead off the home 8th inning, and Sutter's pitch to Pete is over for a strike. Rose hitless in the game. There's a ball to him. Of course, looking back to last Saturday, the Reds administered the worst whipping to Bruce Sutter that he's ever had put on him in Major League Baseball. 7 hits and 6 runs in 2 2/3 innings. There's a check swing foul by Pete. Of course, being the competitor that Bruce is, he wanted right back in there the next day, but things did not turn out that way. One of the fine relief pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. Sutter is 7-4 this season with a .254 earned run average. He saved 22 games out of the Cub bullpen. 2 balls and 2 strikes, a count on Pete. Sutter back behind the mound now, going to his mouth, rubbing up the baseball. Pete is grounded out, flied out, and struck out. Sutter ready with a 2-2 pitch and pitching. That's inside. The count goes full. Three balls, 2 strikes. Pete strikes out swinging. Here's the pitching line on Russell. He allows a run on 4 hits with 5 strikeouts and 2 walks in 7 innings. Joe Morgan 1 for 3, a first inning hit to center. Ball 1. Chicago got 2 in the second on a bases-loaded single by Russell. There's a called strike. Scored twice more in the 4th inning. On a sacrifice fly by Russell and a base hit by Gross, the Reds scored a run in the bottom of the 4th. Johnny Bench drove that in, and then Chicago came back with another run in the 6th inning. Swing and a miss by Morgan, 1-2. Just low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. One out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Morgan at the plate. And, well, for the second straight batter, Suter has run the count full, 3-2. Struck Rose out with a payoff pitch and now has run the string out on Morgan. Crowd here at Riverfront has not had a whole lot to get excited about tonight. Morgan drills one foul down the right field line. That'll fall into the seats. Talk about the lack of offense. We had 7 hits last night. We had only 4 hits, though winning in the 11th inning in the middle game of the series against the Cardinals on Tuesday night, 5-4. There's ball 4, so Morgan works a 1-out walk, bringing Ken Griffey to the plate. So Bruce Suter has struck out a batter, Rose. He's walked a batter, Morgan. Ken Griffey without a hit in 3 tries with a strikeout, a ground ball to second, a fly ball to center field. Swing and a miss. Of course, it was Kenny who hit that 2-out, 2-run home run last Saturday in Chicago that tied things up in the 9th inning at 6-6. The Reds went on to score 3 times in the 10th inning and posted a 9-7 win over Suter. Strike 2 call. Letter high, inside edge, 0-2. Checking Morgan pitch, swung on and foul at the plate. Attendance here at Riverfront tonight, 39,070. 39,070. Tell you one thing, this umpiring crew filling in for the striking umpires have done a fine job in this ball game. Of course, the burden of proof on the shoulders of plate umpire Les Tridle, and while there have been brief arguments at the plate about pitches that the hitters thought he might have missed, he's done a good job. Here's a line drive base hit into right center field. Morgan will move to third. Griffey takes a turn. He'll hold at first base. And the Reds have him on the corners with 1 down as Griffey lines a single to right center field.
Oh, that was a good play. That was a good play by Bobby Murcer. Not only cutting the ball off, but getting rid of it in a hurry. As soon as Kenny saw the ball in the air, that's when he pulled up. And Bobby went on and maybe taken a couple of steps to get set and throw the ball. Ken could have gotten a double, but when he saw that ball in the air, he stopped it.
Willie Hernandez is going down to begin throwing now in the Cub bullpen, along with the right-hander Lynn McLaughlin. So following the strikeout of Rose, Morgan draws a walk. Griffey singles Joe to third, and here's Foster. George has bounced to second, walked and scored the lone Cincinnati run, and he's had a single. Swung on a ground ball wide of third, fielded by Kelleher, on to second to get the force out on Griffey as Morgan scores, making it 5-2. Nice play by Mick Kelleher on a high bouncer wide of third base. So Foster gets RBI number 95. The Reds now trail by 3 runs, and Danny Driessen will stand in with 2 down and Foster at first base. Danny is 0 for 2. He's walked 1 time. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 swinging, and Driessen lost his bat that time. He came all the way through with a swing, and his bat shooting off just to the left of the on-deck circle. Reds have plated a run in the 8th inning off Bruce Sutter, but still down by 3 runs. With Driessen behind 2 strikes, Foster at first base. Stretch in the pitch. Ground ball to first. There's Buckner. He looks to see if he's got the ball and then goes to the bag to get the out. 1 run in the 8th inning for Cincinnati on a base hit with a man left, and after 8 full, Chicago 5 and Cincinnati 2.
There's a big M sign round the corner, down the road and up the street. And there's a friend of mine round that corner, someone you all know and someone you'd be glad to meet. Somewhere near where you live, there's a big M sign that tells you this is someplace different. This is the working home of your marathon man. What that means to you is there's somebody there who still thinks wiping your windshield, checking the air in your tires and the water in your battery are part of what you're supposed to get when you come into a station. That big M sign is a sign there's still a place to take your car and have it taken care of the way it's supposed to be. And that big M sign means there's a man worth knowing working under it. Go get together with a friend who'll do it better. Go see your marathon man. Marathon Auto Company. We got together to do it better.
Well, we're in the top of the 9th inning, and let's see who will lead things off for the Chicago Cubs. We may be getting a pinch hitter for Bruce Sutter. Well, actually, it'll be Mick Kelleher batting in the number 9 spot, apparently. Kelleher along with Clines and Sutter coming on in the 8th, so Kelleher batting in the 9th spot. Then it'll be Greg Gross, and we'll see after that. Once more, Willie Hernandez goes down to begin throwing, along this time with right-hander Donnie Moore. Mick Kelleher, 265 batting average with a couple of runs batted in. Tommy Hume's first pitch is swung on and fouled out of here. 2:15 our start time tomorrow afternoon as Ray Burris goes against the former Cub Bill Bonham. Plenty of seats available for the middle game of the series as well as a closeout here on Sunday afternoon. Inside and high for a ball, 1-1. Kelleher, right-handed batter. He swings and misses at a pitch away. He can play all over the infield, second, short, third base. Of course, the Cubs are without their regular third baseman for the remainder of the season, Steve Ontiveros, who underwent knee surgery or shoulder surgery it was. They purchased Dave Johnson from the Philadelphia Phillies on waivers. But Rodney Scott has been doing an awful lot of playing at third base of late. 2-2. Hume delivers, and Kelleher strikes out swinging. Tommy picks up his first strikeout. Greg Gross 1 for 4. He knocked in a run with a single to right field in the 4th inning. Well, it's going to be interesting tomorrow to see what the Major League umpires do. Gross grounds one by Rose. Here's Concepcion sweeping in behind Pete. Long throw to first, not in time. He bounced one to Danny as he did earlier, but had his momentum carrying him toward third base. Didn't have a whole lot on it, and Gross beats it out for an infield single. As best we could determine earlier tonight, the crew of umpires who were to have worked this series, led by Bob Engel, who's the president of the Major League Umpires Association, they were not even in town, although we understand they were expected to arrive sometime tomorrow. So with that temporary restraining order signed today by Federal District Judge Joseph L. McGlynn in Philadelphia, barring the umpires from continuing the strike action they started earlier today. We would assume they're going to be here for tomorrow afternoon's encounter. Rodney Scott takes a strike, or Gene Klein's, the left fielder, strike on the outside corner. Klein's hitting .263. Gross at first, one out. A high chop to short. Concepcion charges, goes to Morgan. He'll settle for just a force out at second base. 2 down. Well, Bill Buckner will be looking for his 3rd hit tonight. He doubled in the 1st and singled in the 5th. Here's a swing and a foul ball. That's foul first, but then rolling fair, and Les Tridle, along with first base umpire Mick Sharkey, immediately signaling foul ball. If you are somewhat in the dark, and I guess we should have explained it earlier tonight concerning what this strike is all about, the umpires signed a 5-year agreement with the Major League clubs prior to the 1977 season. Now they want to renegotiate that contract into the 2nd year with 3 more years after this one. And there was a no-strike clause in the original contract, which they went against by striking today. Here's a fly ball hit back into left center field. Foster camping, makes the catch, and that's the inning. In the 9th for the Cubs, no runs on a hit with a man left. The Reds need 3 to get even. At the end of 8.5, Chicago 5, Cincinnati 2.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroll for the real beer lover, stroll, taste like no other. Stroll for the real beer lover. Everyone knows it's the beer lover's beer. Family brew. Over 200 years, real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a stroll. Hey, 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 stroll. For the real beer lovers, stroll. Tastes like no other. Stroll for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another, stroll. The Stroll Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Reds have their work cut out for them as they come to the bottom half of the 9th inning, and, well, needless to say, they'd like to have the kind of night tonight that the St. Louis Cardinals had here on Tuesday night when the Reds led 4-0 going to the 9th inning. The Cardinals tied it up, only to have the Reds win it in 11. Johnny Bench, who has driven in a run, his 49th RBI with a single in the 4th inning to lead it off against Bruce Sutter. Bench swings and hits a high fly ball into shallow left. Quickly in, Gene Klein's. De Jesus out, but Klein's calls and makes the catch. One pitch, one out. Dave Concepcion has grounded out second to first, hit into a force play, and in the 7th inning, fly to right field. That one gets away from Sutter as it bounces and kicks by Tim Blackwell. Up high, ball 2. Mike Lum is on deck, and should we get that far, we'll have a pinch hitter for Tom Hume. Strike one call on the inside at the belt. 2-1. Swung on, grounded to third, played on the short bounce by Kelleher, zeroes in on Buckner for the second out. Mike Lum 1 for 3. He doubled to left field in the seventh. And Cesar Geronimo is out of the dugout and in the on-deck circle. Suter sights a sign, pitches. Lum takes the ball. Strike his call, 1-1. Now the star of the game coming up and scores and comments immediately following the end of this one. 2 out with the bases empty in the Reds' 9th inning. Lum inside and low, a ball, 2-1. Suter with a pitch, and Lum takes, that's high, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. There's ball 4. So Mike Lum keeps the 9th inning alive for Cincinnati as he draws a 2-out walk. That's the second base on balls allowed by Suter and will allow Geronimo to swing the bat. Cesar has done an excellent job. Bench this season. He is 5 for 8. Well, if the Reds can get Geronimo on, Rose would then represent the tie and run here. Buckner will play deep at first as Suter misses upstairs with the first pitch. Mike Rourke, the Chicago pitching coach, makes his second trip to the mound tonight. He was out there in the 4th inning when Rick Russell issued walks with 2 down to Foster and Driessen. Now out there talking with Bruce Suter. Both Suter and Rick Russell are in the process of growing beards, we understand, to try and bring some recognition to a Chicago pitching staff that, in their opinion, has received very little outside of Chicago this season. I don't know how that would bring recognition to an individual other than the fact that I just talked about it, and I guess that is what they're looking for. So I guess they've achieved their goal. 1-0 pitch. Strike on the inside, a fastball. Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates have gone up in front of the Houston Astros by a run at 3-2. They're in the 4th inning in the Dome. Geronimo tries to bunt, fouls it off. Suter owns a count advantage at 1-2. We've got Sarmiento starting to throw just in the event. Mike Lum at first, 2 away. Geronimo waiting on the pitch, and here it is. It's high, and it's ball 2. Count levels. Two and 2 the count. Strike 3 call, and that's the ball game. In the 9th for the Reds, no runs on no hits with 1 man left on. Cincinnati goes down to its 14th loss in 23 games here in the month of August as the Cubs win this series opener 5-2. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Grange singers tell us to make friends with tomorrow. Tomorrow is sure to come, and it can bring either bad news or good news. Bad news first. Unless we protect ourselves, we can be victimized by stormy weather, business reverses, failing health, or just bum breaks. We all get them sooner or later. Now here's the good news. A friendly tomorrow can mean diplomas on the wall, wedding bells, and a jubilant retirement celebration with money in the bank. What's the difference? Your Grange insurance agent can be the difference. Grange wants to be your partner, wants to help you make friends with tomorrow. A friendly Grange agent can get the good news going. Consult the yellow pages for the name of your nearest Grange agent, your partner in protection.
Make friends with tomorrow. Grange Mutual to be sure.
Right-hander Rick Rush will maintain his 1978 superiority over the Cincinnati Reds tonight as he chalked up his fourth consecutive victory, had late-inning relief help from Bruce Sutter, who went the last two innings, as the Chicago Cubs prevail by a final score of 5-2. 5 runs, 13 hits, no errors, and 7 stranded, the winning Cub numbers, while the Reds had 2 runs on 5 base hits as their offense continued to stay away on vacation. Errorless baseball for the Reds and 7 stranded also. Russell runs his record to 13 wins and 11 losses on the year. The defeat goes to starter Mike Lacoste. He lasted only 5 innings tonight, giving up 4 of the 5 runs and 9 of the base hits, as his record now slips under 500 at 3 wins and 4 losses. On the year, the Reds show a record of 71 wins and 57 losses and still are seeking consistency not only at the plate, where the offense has been suffering badly of late, but also on the mound. Game number 2 in the series coming up tomorrow. We'll take a look at the starting pitchers when we continue in just a moment.
Adventure, fantasy,
Excitement.
mystery.
Something fun for everyone in Thailand. So here
If you want to know what my idea of fun is, just listen to Dick Van Dyke's ABCs of Kings Island. There's air shows, bluegrass, clown bands, dolphins, the Eiffel Tower, Firestone balloons, giraffes, Huckleberry Hound, International Street, jazz, keelboats, lions, magic, nightlife, Oktoberfest, penguins, crane carousels, river town, scream-on, demon, twin racers, ukuleles, variety shows, wild animal safari, xylophones, Yogi Bear, and zebras. Wow, you know, from A to Z, Kings Island does have something fun for everyone.
kingdom where all your dreams come true.
I told you, it's a whole world of fun right down to the last letter.
King's Island for everyone.
So come on.
King's Island for you.
Tomorrow afternoon at 2:15, the middle game of the series, 2 right-handers will be on the mound. Cincinnati Bill Bonham, the former Chicago Cub, will carry in a record of 9 wins and 4 defeats. And for the Cubs, it'll be Ray Burris, who pitched surprisingly good baseball last Sunday afternoon against the Reds in a surprise start at Wrigley Field. And Burris has a record on the year of 5 wins and 9 losses. Plenty of seats available for the final 2 games of the series. Reds radio will get underway tomorrow afternoon, beginning at 1:45 Cincinnati time, with the pregame shows on most of these same stations. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. Now on most of these same stations, stay tuned for Joe Nuxall with the Star of the Game show. Again, the final score tonight, the Cubs 5 and the Reds 2.